Previously on hero or villain, Mr. Metokur, he became a very important figure, and as more and more people heard about him, he did something that no ordinary YouTuber would ever think of doing. He shut down his own YouTube channel. But why? Why would he just close down his own channel? Only one way to find out. And now, I will be talking about the man himself. At last. Enjoy. Welcome to today's episode of Hero or Villain, where I discuss if today's topic is either a hero or a villain, or maybe everything in between. Pre-Metokur, Jim81Jim, and GamesGoodMeBad. Estimated time, around 2007 to early 2010s. Now, it's not so known to me what came first, the chicken or the egg, Jim81Jim or GamesGoodMeBad, but there is a popular belief that his first YouTube account could have been Jim81Jim, which a lot of people speculate that he could have created around 2007 or so. His in-video avatar at the time used to be this angry smiley face. Now, back in YouTube's infancy, YouTube didn't have any YouTube studio or anything like that. At least I don't think so. And because there was no YouTube studios back then, Jim was unable to get any royalty-free music and sound effects. And so, his first commentary videos didn't have that much music to it, except for mainstream songs. But not only that, his videos didn't have that many pictures or video snippets. His opening theme song at the time would vary. It could vary from MSI's Mastermind or Issues, and sometimes non-point bullet with a name on it, and sometimes it would be Rammstein songs, or is it Rammstein or Riemstein, or anyways, and sometimes Jim had that one Lady Gaga remix, I think, and etc etc etc. Jim's video format in the late 2000s, early 2010s was nothing unusual. As for what his first uploads were, in theory, it could have been about either ICP, or his first videos could have been about Spax3.
Hi everybody, this is Jim81Jim, and I decided to do a video because I'm frankly blown away. I'm blown away by the fact that this even exists, that the internet has become so horrible that like this can continue to go on, that there's no idea of quality control anymore. It's completely gone out the window. I'm speechless. I'm blown away by this. When somebody told me this existed, I didn't believe them. I thought they were me. So I come to this website, and by God, it's real. And so I'm looking through, and I figured it can't. This has to be like some epic troll. I mean, somebody's got to have a lot of time and a twisted sense of humor. But nope, it's real. It's 100% legitimate. Now, as a disclaimer, if you don't know who Spax is, congratulations. Turn the video off. You are a winner, sir. Walk away. This banner. Can you spot what doesn't belong in this banner? Really, take a second. I'm going to stay silent. Really take a look. What doesn't belong? If you answered the man in the hooded sweatshirt with the gun pointed at the head of Tom the robot, congratulations. What the am I looking at? On the bottom of the page here, you have a donate button. I don't give a if you want to yourself for money. He's got an announcement talking about all the he just bought. And here's his list of what he bought at E4All, I don't know what E4All is. I'm going to guess it's got to do with video games or anime, because he's white and he's and therefore anything he does has to revolve around those two things. The Super Famicom. For God, God forbid he just called it the Super Nintendo. No, that wouldn't be weeaboo enough. He's got to call it the Famicom. This is a guy who probably pronounces Miyamoto very, very properly. So here we go. Here's his videos. Anybody who ever wanted to see a Spax video, right before they got all pulled, before his mom sued everybody and got them taken down, they're up here. So let's just start one up and take a great look at this. Oh, wow! We have liftoff, ladies and gentlemen. This is Spax. Take a good look. This is a guy who has... This guy, we're looking at the picture of the man who's getting money. Look at this! Look at that face! Oh, God. His must have cobwebs on it. No woman's ever going to touch him. Look at him. Look at his teeth. What? Look at right there in the middle. What is that? It's like one of his teeth is trying to escape. He's trying to break free. God, he looks like the guy you'd wake up from the, you know, imagine you go to a nightclub and suddenly you feel faint, you pass out, and you wake up in the back of somebody's van. This is a face that greets you. This is what's looking over you. This is what makes you scream and start sweating and thinking, oh my god, what's going to happen? Why is my sore and why is there butter spread on my thighs? The next gen games, gamer fans. I'm Spax, gamer fans. You know, it kind of sounds like he put like a Suzuki underneath that word. Like you're just waiting for him to rev it up. Gamer fans. Oh, Jesus. Sweet Jesus. For some reason, you've got to have a Season 1 and a Season 2? Nobody's going to buy this. I can't picture anybody running out to Walmart and saying, I've got to get me some Spax. Contact section. Forum section. Oh, a forum section. 153 people. 153 people who are, you know, they were all probably touched by their parents. They all probably, you know, saw a clown somebody when they were 5 years old. There something like that has to be in the background because there's no conceivable reason why they would be on this site. And what do you know? Everything is just, it's just God. It's what you would think it was going to be. You know, how much do you want to bet if I spent the time and actually dug through this? I'd find a site. You know, I'd find a thread that basically said sucking Sonic or something to that effect. Or there'd be a picture of a little, you know, a bunny rabbit from the cartoon series getting in the by Spax. Folks, there's something wrong with the internet. It's been happening for a while now. I mean, we've always had up stuff, right? People donkeys, kids getting people selling guns. Yeah, it's always. I mean, it's had its problems, right? We all know that. It's not perfect. There's some horrible out there. This is Jim81Jim, preparing to stick a revolver in his mouth because he actually saw that this existed.
But I am not going to go into full detail about Spax3 today. It'll take too long, but if you'd like to know the whole story, then I can highly recommend Dylan the Night Owl's video for you. In my opinion, I give Dylan's video a lot of good points, and an extra plus point for having an interview with him. But anyways, remember what I said in my previous episode? YouTube didn't have that many content creators back in the 2000s. There was Smosh, and there was the angry video game nerd, and so and so. And because the angry video game nerd was a very popular figure at the time, he unintentionally inspired some people to start up their own YouTube channels. So if you were a YouTuber back then, and you watched a gaming review video, and the host of that video said stuff like, oh F this effing old game, it's so bad it's good, or so and so, something like that, then chances are that he or she took a lot of cues from AVGN. And Spax3 used to be one of those YouTubers, or so I've heard. But I don't think Spax3 has ever openly said that he copied AVGN, but that's what I heard from other people, and I've seen bits and pieces from his videos, and it just looks that way. But Spax3 was not the only one at the time that was, in finger quotes, inspired by AVGN. No, because back then, back in old YouTube, it was sort of a trend to do so actually. It was quite trendy. But then, sometime later, the nostalgia critic came into YouTube's picture, and he too became a living meme, a Hugh meme, just like AVGN. And just like AVGN, he too had some people or fans that wanted to impersonate him, you could say. AVGN and the nostalgia critic are very recognizable internet icons, and especially recognizable by people of my generation, millennials. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's recognizable by early Zoomers too. Maybe not. But of course, not all YouTubers from back then wanted to be like AVGN or NC, though both of them did unintentionally inspire ordinary people to get up and get out there and start their own YouTube shows, you know. But regardless of who inspired who, I think every reviewer is unique in their own way, It doesn't matter what media they criticize, video games, movies, books, what have you. Those copycats from a long time ago kept angry video game nerd and the nostalgia critic spirit alive. And there probably still are AVGN impersonators to this day, just like Elvis. Now, I know I said that a lot of people know about AVGN and NC, but I would like to ask everyone who's watching this podvid. When you see a picture of AVGN, or when you hear his voice in the background, what comes to mind specifically for you? Playing and talking about video games from the 1980s/90s, his theme song, his foul mouth, his white t-shirt, his beverage of choice, him being a fan of Castlevania, Pickle, or his brand, Cinemassacre. I think of these items and concepts when I see him and hear his voice. And I don't think I'm the only one, actually. But what about Spax3? What's so recognizable about him? What comes to mind for a lot of people when they see his image or hear his voice? His very loud and screechy voice? His black hoodie? His pistol? His messy house? His teeth? His voice acting? Domino's Pizzanoid? Guns N' Roses' Welcome to the Jungle? Or do some people think about Spax3 because he used to be one of the earliest Sonic the Hedgehog reviewers on YouTube? Even before Some Call Me Johnny. Yeah, Spax3 predates him. But, anyways, you know, when it comes to Spax3, I probably should call him a Sonic reviewer in quotation marks, because the way he produced his reviews seems to me like an outlet for him to vent his frustration for the 4Kids voice actors for Sonic X. When it comes to Spax3's ideas and opinions, you were either with him or not. There was nothing in between.
Spax. Oh, good old Spax. Well, back in October of last year, I'd done a review of his website, but, over the last 6 months since I did that video, other people have come forward and they've done parodies, they've done spoofs, they've done all sorts of crazy. I've seen animated series, and I've seen rants, and I've seen just a lot of really clever out there that's funny. It's funny, it's entertaining, and it's good. And what happens to those people? They get banned. They get kicked off of YouTube, they get kicked off DeviantArt. And, it's bull. It's bull that he can wield that kind of power. It's bull that people will, flag videos for him. He's got people flagging videos for him. I don't know how he started this little miniature empire on the internet, but he did. If you want to say anything about Spax, with all his faults, he has done that very well. He has built up his own little fan base very well. And he's got these people to do for him that, he'd never be able to do completely on his own. Case in point, if you go to Ed and you look at his articles, you're going to see video after video that's been removed. That's because he's got people going on Ed and looking at videos that get released on different sites and getting them cut and getting them, taken down and kicking the people who did those videos off of the sites themselves. Bull, man, that's bull. When people do that kind of stuff on the internet, they should get called on it. If he had been smart, he would have just ignored it and it would have went away. It completely would have went away. This would have, nobody would have given a. But he couldn't ignore it. Or if he was smart, he would have done something witty, he would have done something funny, would have fired back and said, video content creators, at least I make original. You're just, you're taking what I do and you're, twisting it, but you can't even come up with your own. But he didn't do that. Instead, what he did is he out. He did the equivalent on the internet of what a kid would do in the classroom when they get made fun of. He ran to the teacher. And we all know what happens in an elementary school or a junior high or a high school when you run and tell the teacher. You get your kicked. The class hates you for doing that. Nobody likes a tattletale. That's what he is. He's a tattletale on the internet. He's the Cindy Brady of the digital age. He would go into fury if you didn't like the Sonic game that he liked, if you talked about any of the peripheral series that are somehow associated with the main franchise, like take 4Kids for example, and the whole Jason Griffith thing. Here's this poor mother Jason Griffith who works for a dubbing company, 4Kids Entertainment. I mean, they do more than dub, but he works for this company. He's a voice actor. He gets assigned to do the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. That's his job. This is what the guy does. It's his job. But Spax didn't like that. Spax didn't like this guy's voice. He made video after video, rant after rant, post after post, talking about how Jason Griffith is like the Antichrist in the animated world, and how 4Kids is trying to bring about some anti-utopian, horrible fire, and they're gonna ruin animation and they're gonna it up. And yeah, they kind of do. I mean, they do goofy. They stuff up. So anyway, here's this poor. He's doing his job. It's not like he kicked Ryan Drummond off. It's not like he, beat him up in the bathroom and took his position. He got assigned the job. That's his job. So he's doing his job. He comes in, he clocks in, he does the voice, and he leaves. That's how he looks at it. I'm sure that's how I'd look at it. It's not like it's some mission in life for him to make sure that Sonic the Hedgehog is perfectly done. I mean, he'll try. He'll try to make it passable, to make it decent, but he can't help if he can't do it to the expectations of a diehard fan. He came in and he did a goofy voice and he did, he read the script. He did what was expected of him. Sure, it might not have been to the, level of what certain people wanted, but he didn't do a terrible job. He did a professional job. So imagine yourself doing your job and having some crazy come in there and say, "Hey, asshole, this Whopper you made me? Yeah, it's not like Kevin used to make it." And you're like, "Who is Kevin?" "That's a guy who used to work here 2 years ago." You're like, "Yeah, so it's a Whopper, right? I mean, all the parts are there." "Oh yeah, all the parts are there, but you didn't make it like Kevin made it." "Oh, okay." And then this crazy customer not only tells you, you're because you can't make a Whopper like Kevin used to make one. He makes videos about it. He writes letters about it. He's marching out, front of the door, talking about how you don't know how to make Whoppers. And you're watching this like, what in the is this guy's problem? And people are driving by looking at this psychopath, and they're thinking, that's funny. And so they with him a little bit. That's the reaction that should happen. Because it's so extreme and it's so bizarre to get that incensed over something that's stupid. It's a voice actor.
But that's not the only reason why a lot of people get upset with him. Not just because of a difference in opinion. It mostly has to do with the fact that Spax3 used other people's material without permission. So they say, gameplay footage, mainstream songs, the Pizzanoid, the Cartoon Network logo, and etc, etc, etc. If I understand this correctly, Spax3, 99% of the time, didn't formally ask for permission if it was okay for him to use the material. He didn't seem to, and not only did he forget to ask, he allegedly also forgot to explain to his viewers where he gets his information. Now, back in the early 2000s, Sonic X was a very popular show back then, and it was localized by the now defunct 4Kids. Yeah, I know. But there's a twist. The show had a new cast of actors. A new cast of actors that is separated from the video game voice actors. And Spax3 was not happy about that. He was not happy that Sonic's voice was divided into two. One side would voice the games, and the other would voice the show. Spax3 was not happy when the 4Kids actors would eventually voice Sonic in the games too. In one of Spax3's videos, he claims that SAGA replaced Sonic's video game voice actors because the previous voice actor for Dr. Eggman passed away. But the current voice actor for Dr. Eggman debunks these rumors in an interview on the YouTube channel Find the Computer Room. To paraphrase and summarize what he said said something to the effect of 4Kids/SAGA's decision to have a new cast of actors and the replacement for the games would have happened anyways regardless if the previous voice actor had passed away or not. End paraphrase. But anyways, all the things I mentioned above are what comes to mind for me when I think of Spax3. And I am not entirely sure how he himself wanted people to remember him as, but I've always been under the impression that he may have believed that people saw him in the same light as AVGN. As one of the good guys, but no, a lot of people don't remember Spax3 as a good guy. Some of Spax3's viewers and some non-fans weren't so willing to blindly believe what he said and what they saw in his videos. Maybe Spax3 was hoping that everybody who was watching would just simply overlook the mess that he lived in, or how much he quote-unquote borrowed from AVGN, or maybe he was hoping to become the next internet meme, which he technically is. He's a HoV meme, but he's not a good kind of a meme, not even back then. Let's say I would ask someone that lived through the whole Spax3 saga, if you will, and I would ask one of his viewers what they strongly remember about him. And most likely, some people would list off what I just mentioned. His hoodie, the Noid, his hatred for Sonic's then voice actor at the time, and etc, etc, etc. And unfortunately for Spax3, that's the reputation he built for himself. A lot of people don't remember him for doing a great review of any of the Sonic games, or for his voice acting. No, I actually don't think so. I think a lot of people remember him in a way that he probably did not intend to. When a lot of people think of Spax3, they remember him along the lines of, what? Spax3? Wasn't he that misinformed Sonic fan that got his mom to sue YouTube because he didn't like it when people criticized him, even though he himself criticized Sonic's voice actor at the time? And because of his constant complaints, it basically set the Sonic fandom on fire. He made a big deal out of something that wasn't supposed to be a big deal to begin with. Yeah, people remember Spax3 along those lines. As a bad example. Even though I only seen bits and pieces of his quote-unquote reviews, they seem to me like bait and switch videos. You think you're going to watch a Sonic game review, but then, in between, he changes the subject to Sonic's new voice actor at the time, bad, Sonic's old voice actor, good. Now, I'm not an actor myself, I'm not. But based on what I've gathered in interviews on YouTube and on the book Voiceover Voice Actors Secondary Edition, the whole casting process and how things should have been actually handled by 4 kids, it just doesn't work the way Spax3 imagines it. And this is why Spax3's views and opinions were just that. It's just his subjective opinions. When Spax3 made those videos complaining about Sonic's previous voice actor, I've always been under the impression that he may have believed that he did something that was scientifically proven. He may have believed that he was one of the good guys. Maybe he thought that he was fighting the good fight, you know, like a comic book superhero. Maybe he believed he had superpowers, like the power of moral authority, and with that imaginary power, he may have believed that he could use it to brand Sonic's 4 kids voice actor as a thief, and paint Sonic's video game voice actor as an innocent victim, which I think was a very weird thing of Spax3 to do, because he went around and stole other people's material, and unfortunately for him, he did not seem to understand the irony. It was lost upon him, and as a result, it all backfired on him. He ended up attracting the wrong kind of attention, as a lol cow. And because of his misguided beliefs, some people may have been under the impression that people around Spax3 were probably just like him. Friends, followers, family members, and, sadly, even some Sonic fans. And that's just what happens when you misrepresent a certain fandom. And in my opinion, I think it is frustrating when you have 1 or 2 people in a fandom that ruins it for everybody else, regardless if they're doing it unintentionally or not. And I think it's even more frustrating when they don't even realize it. They don't realize that their righteous indignation ruins it for everybody else. I mean, what if someone downloads his videos one day and archives them for the rest of history to... Oh, wait. They already have. Whoops. People back then understood a fair amount of references and inspirations in a lot of Spax3's videos, but I actually don't think future generations will. No, if future generations would stumble upon his videos without any proper explanations and context, They are either going to be confused or terrified. If they're not familiar with AVGN, then yeah, I can picture their confusions in my head. I mean, what are the probabilities that future generations are going to grow up with AVGN? Because I'm under the impression that AVGN and Spax3's viewer base are of my generation, millennials, and not Zoomers or Gen Alpha. But anyways, let's get back to the here and now, 2021. Spax3 now stands as an example, but not the kind of example that he himself probably had hoped for. No. Based on what I see, Spax3 is an example of what somebody should not do on the internet, both as a fan and as a content creator. And if up-and-coming content creators don't do their homeworks, and aren't careful about who they view as a role model, then yeah, they may most likely end up in the same sorry state as him, as yet another bad example, as a lolcow. And this, from my interpretation, is what happens when you're being accusatory to someone, or something, and then afterwards it turns out that you're much more worse than they are. In the entirety of this whole Spax3 saga, it makes me really wonder who the actual villain is. Now, at the top of my head, I can think of 4 online weathermen that talked about Spax3. Blackbuster Critic, Helsing920, rest in peace, Guru Larry, and even Jim81Jim. All 4 either talked about Spax3 or just sometimes simply mentioned him. But then eventually, around, I speculate, late 2000s or early 2010s, Spax3 stopped complaining about 4Kids and Sonic's then voice actor. I am not entirely sure why, but I theorized that Sonic Colors had something to do with that. Yeah? Sonic Colors released on November 16th, 2010 for the Nintendo Wii. The game introduced the now staple wristbands into the Sonic franchise. But that's not just it. The game also introduced a new cast of voice actors. And from that point forward, 4Kids would no longer be involved with anything Sonic related. This probably could have been the reason why Spax3 stopped complaining about the 4Kids cast, because of the change in voice actors. Yeah? I don't know what Spax3 was thinking when he found out that 4Kids discontinued their affiliation with SAGA, but I speculate that when he realized that 4Kids would no longer voice Sonic, he probably decided to move on with something else. Now, I'm not so sure if Jim81Jim knew about the whole aftermath of Spax3, or if he at all cared, but I've always been curious about what Jim's opinion is with Spax3's aftermath.
But wait a minute! This isn't supposed to be the finale. Why, I thought there were going to be many more parts to this spectacular series you've been doing on Spax. How could it possibly end here, you might ask? Well, that's an interesting question. And the short answer of that is, I just stopped giving a But there's a long answer to it. And I'll give you the long answer to it. I just stopped giving a Video's over. Go yourselves. Ah, no, I'm kidding. You know, making this series has been kind of fun. You know, I've enjoyed doing it. And I've just half-heartedly been kind of meandering my way through this. I had a grand plan, you see. I was going to dissect Spax part by part, piece by piece by piece. And I was going to show you why he's such a huge because I just dislike the guy. I dislike what he does. But somewhere in there, it got to be more of a chore than a hobby. It got to be more work than it was worth. And then I came to realize, no, it really isn't worth it. It's kind of like beating a dead horse. This was more meant to be a commentary on Spax, on what I don't like about him. Like I said, when I originally started this, I really liked making fun of Spax. I enjoyed it. He is a walking target that deserves to be made fun of. He is a bag. And, over the last couple of months, last half year, I've met his ex-friends, I've met people he over, people from his forum, just random people he's encountered, and the general idea I get about him, the general consensus, is he really is a Now, that's what I dislike about him. And I really didn't like his videos in the beginning either. I thought they were Now, somebody asked me recently, what did you think of his most recent video? Is Sonic Unleashed? Or I don't know what it was. It was something. right? His most recent video. What did you think of it? And I'm going to be honest, I thought it was actually pretty good. That he did a good job on. Now, just because I think he did a good job, an okay job at a video, doesn't mean he's any less of a bag or any less of a he's still a bag. It just means, right, that he did an okay job. And so, you know, it's hard to go and rip on his older videos now that you kind of see that his newer videos, at least he's getting an idea of what his older stuff over, and he's kind of moving away from that. I'm not talking about, you know, apologizing to Griffith, right? I don't buy that for a second. I'm just talking about how he has it structured, how he has it ordered, the audio quality, the visual quality. He's doing a good job. He's doing an okay job. I can't ride the guy for doing, you know, something decently. And so, you know, it's all kind of piling in, and, you know, that's kind of why I decided just to stop. Just finale, end, over, done, right? Over this course of this series, I've looked at different aspects of him. His video reviews, which, you know, were pretty god-awful. His DeviantArt account, which is bull. I talked about his Griffith, you know, obsession and, you know, the boycott and all that. And even about how he over people. And if you're curious, I was going to do all these video reviews. I was going to go through all his videos and show each instance of copyright infringement. For a purpose. I wasn't doing it just because I wanted to extend the length of the series. I wanted my final point, the final video that was going to be at the very tail end of this, to really have substance. I was going to show how many times he's infringed copyrights of other people, which I'm sure would have been well over 300 or 400 times in his past 14, 15 videos. You know, it really would have been a good high number. And then I was going to cap it off by having a copyright attorney do a little video segment. It was going to be a little Q&A about maybe 5 to 10 minutes long, where I was going to have him explain just how copyright and trademark work on the internet. And to show you just why it is Spax is such a bag. Because he abuses that system, and he does it illegally. Don't mistake the fact that YouTube will take down videos as them somehow, you know, legitimizing the claim. It doesn't. They're just doing it as a business standpoint, you know, or a business practice. Right? They're not saying that because they took a video down it necessarily infringes on a copyright. That hasn't been proven. They're just doing it because they don't want to deal with the headache. So anybody can flag a video and get it taken down, you know? And so I was going to have this guy come on, and I was going to show him the copyright infringements on Spax's behalf, and then I was going to show him different ways Spax has abused the system, and then I was going to have him merely comment on, you know, how bull that was, and what his honest opinion was on trademark, on copyright, on how the system should work, and how it does work. Because I wanted that very last video to impart to you the knowledge that, yes, you can make fun of somebody. Yes, you can, you know, do satire, you can do comedy, you can do commentary. You don't have to be afraid of some head who lives in his parents' basement who swears his mom is a lawyer. Because I'll tell you what, you go watch Spax's videos, you watch them really carefully, and you look at the instances where he gets film of his home. Look at the bathroom, look at the kitchen, look at his bedroom, his backyard, and his property. Now, lawyers make a good amount of money, and you're going to tell me after looking at his home that his mom's a lawyer? Well, then she must be the worst lawyer in the history of the world, because, frankly, if his mom was a lawyer, they'd be living in a lot better house than he does. So, all that talk about her being a lawyer, I say it's bull. I, in fact, would claim that, at most, she was a legal aid. She was, you know, basically a secretary with a really nice title. And there are ways to corroborate this. You can actually look up a legal license, somebody's, you know, document to practice law. All you got to do is look at his hometown, his, you know, his hometown, his home state, and you can get the documentation and prove, basically, she is not a lawyer. So that was going to be my closure point. It was going to be fantastic, right? It's going to really nail his to the wall with that. And then it was going to, you know, I was going to be done. Hooray for me. I can walk away and it'll be done. But, you know, it comes up, you get busy, you get tired, you just don't want to do it. You have second thoughts about how it's going to turn out, and that's what happened to me. I just don't want to do it anymore. It's not entertaining to me anymore, and I felt like that for a couple of months now. I just haven't really got around to talking about it. So to the people out there who like the videos, you know, you like the little series, you found it funny, you found it entertaining, that's great. For the people out there who've been over by Spax, don't worry about it. You can just make as many videos as you want and put them back up. He can't do about it. Nothing's going to stop you. Really, honest to God, nothing's going to happen to you. Put them back up and laugh for the day. You know, you're not going to get sued. The cops aren't going to show up at your house. His mom is not going to serve you a subpoena. You will be fine. Spax has no power on the internet. Oh. I mean, this whole series, it started off as a joke. A joke between me and a friend. I did a video because I thought it was funny, his website, and that was that. Then I saw stuff he was doing, and I turned it into a series because, you know, because I thought he was a and I don't like on the internet, especially ones with overinflated egos. That really bothers me a lot. And you know, I was kind of hoping that by the time the series was over, he just kind of disappeared, but he's already kind of just disappeared, right? A lot of his friends have left him. You know, his forum isn't really that great. It's okay, but it's not really that great. It's got hacked a few times and spammed a few times, which was funny to watch. I even hear people ordered him food. $50 worth of Chinese food and like 20 or 30 bucks worth of pizza a couple nights of the week. So, you know, he's got his own to contend with. So I figured for this finale, aside from kind of explain my idea on why I've stopped, I'd answer a few quick questions that people have kind of asked me over the length of these videos. A lot of people ask, has Spax ever contacted you? Or does Spax know that you've done this series? He's never contacted me, never once. And I have no idea if he's ever even watched one of these videos. So, you know, there's not really a lot there to talk about, you know. I've never heard from the guy, and, you know, I've talked to people who know him, and they've never brought up that he saw the series or if he had any comments on it, even if he had seen it. So I'm just going to assume that, you know, no, he hasn't seen it. He probably just took it down when he saw his name attached to it, and, you know, left it at that, didn't even bother to watch it. Other people have asked, well, you did a series on Spax, right? So would you do one on somebody else, like a Chris Chan or something like that? Well, no. Why would I? I mean, my God. When looking at somebody like Chris Chan, it's already been done. It's been done by a ton of people who've done it a lot better than I ever could. Hey, what am I going to do? I'm going to do a quick little 10, 20-minute video with me talking and throwing up a couple pictures every 10 seconds? No. No, I'm not going to do somebody like Chris Chan or God knows who else is out there, right? There are a bunch of other people out there who would deserve it even more than Chris Chan. Arrogant video game reviewers. There's a whole checklist of dipshits up there that really could use a kick in the. But no, Spax was my thing. I just like the guy. I had a problem with him. That's why I did the series. I'm not looking to parlay it into something else. You know, I'm not looking to do Chris Chan or somebody else. Other questions people have asked. Would you do more videos on Spax if he returns? You know, if he starts making a fuss or with your videos, would you start making them again? Because for a while there, people were curious if I was just going to stop outright or not, which I am. Yep, I'm done. You know, Spax can do whatever the wants. I pretty much feel tapped on it. You'd have to do something monumentally up to even get my interest in it again. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who'd pick him apart anyway. You know, Jesus Christ. He's got enough people out there who dislike him. You know, I don't need to do anything about that. And, you know, pretty much the other big one is, well, what are you going to do after Spax? Nothing. I have no idea why I have subscribers on YouTube or Dailymotion or Vimeo or any of the other places. I put the video that linked to all the series videos on YouTube just so people had a hub to go to, not to get subscribers there. You know, so you could go to this one spot and you could see, okay, well, Vimeo pulled it, so I can go to Dailymotion, or it, you know, some copyright thing it over at Dailymotion, so I'll go to Veo. You know what I mean? Just as an area for people to go and check out the videos. That was it. It was supposed to be just an easy access point. It wasn't meant to be like, oh, here's the guy who made the videos, come subscribe to him. So I have no idea why I have like 400 something subs. I don't know what you guys want. I don't make a lot of videos. If you've watched the that I've done recently, it's just bull fun stuff, you know. Poor Jason Mason and Earthworm Jim, you know, like that. I'm having fun. You know, I don't have any plans on doing any series or anything like that. I don't have any plans on doing LPs for right now. I feel kind of bad. I like the Punch-Out thing. I thought that was kind of funny, but I don't have the time. And, you know, it's just, what are you going to do? So I guess in conclusion, I'm a really lazy asshole. I guess would sum it up. A spectacular lazy asshole. But, you know, if somebody out there wants to do the Spax thing, I mean, go ahead, man. You know, more power to you. Get some people together, watch it, make fun of it, you know? So in conclusion, thank you to everybody who watched it. I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm glad you got a kick out of it. And, you know, that's kind of it. And now, hopefully, I can just fade off into obscurity and enjoy the internet again without having projects to do. So if you'll all excuse me, I'm going to go find some really up and then download some illegal.
Has he seen Dylan's video? I'd like to know that. But anyways, we are moving on to a new topic now. ICP and Juggalos. As GamesGoodMeBad. Estimated time, early 2010s. Now I remember when I was a teen in the early 2010s when ICP's Miracle song became a meme. At the time, I used to think they were a cool duo, but then, years later, around the mid or late 2010s, I went through Jim's back catalog I found his ICP commentary videos, and then I changed my mind about them. In Jim's commentary videos, he talked about the main duo in question.
Alright, so I wanted to start this video off by saying, no. I'm not doing a magnets joke. I'm not even going to touch it. Not going to be talking about pelicans at Frisco Bay, eating cell phones and not going anywhere near it. It's funny, I admit, it's funny. I'd love to talk about it, I would, but it's not original anymore, and I'd just be regurgitating the same that 1,000 other people are right now. So, sorry, not going to talk about it. Not going to see that joke in here, so just wanted to get that. That's my disclaimer for the start of the video. There's not going to be any magnets involved in this video. And so why am I doing a video on ICP? What's the point? There's no point. There's no really specific reason. I watched Big Money Hustlers today, and it was so bad, I had to talk about it. I had to talk about that and ICP and Juggalos in general just to vent. I need to get this experience out of me. So I have to make this video. I have to make the bad men go away. I cleared the cache on my computer. Yeah, I lit my laptop on fire, but I just can't get the memory to go away of this god-awful movie and these in clown makeup. ICP. God. You know, they're not even clowns. You know, okay, first off, clowns are entertaining. On some up level, there are some entertaining clowns. Remember Bozo the Clown? He was entertaining. When I was a kid, I loved Bozo the Clown. I did. I loved that clown. It, you remember Stephen King's It, right? That's a great book, great movie. HBO special, whatever, doesn't matter. But there was some entertainment in that, ripping little kids' arms off and eating them and, oh, look into the deadlights. Okay, that was kind of cool. Those are two cool clowns. Insane Clown Posse, not clowns because they're not entertaining in the least. In fact, it should be the Insane Mime Posse, IMP, not ICP, because then I could tolerate listening to their music. If it was the IMP, if it was run by mimes, if it was a mime group, think of that. It'd be 30 minutes of silence. It would make their music so much more enjoyable. 30 minutes of silence. There's nothing else on the CD. Insane Mime Posse, I think that's what we should petition. I think we should see if we can get these two to go for it. They've already got the black and white makeup, right? Mimes are known for having two-color, you know, black and white makeup. Clowns add in color, but they don't. Again, they're not clowns. They're mimes. They're mimes. No, it's the IMP. Not the ICP, IMP. Insane Mime Posse. For a couple of reasons. One, think about it. It's black and white makeup. Black and white face makeup. Clowns have colorful makeup. I've never seen a clown in black and white makeup. But do you know who wears black and white makeup? Mimes do. Filthy mimes. Mimes aren't entertaining, neither is ICP. I'm sorry, IMP, right? Insane Mime Posse. So, what have we found here? First off, black and white makeup, they're mimes. They're not entertaining, they're mimes. I'm telling you, mimes. I wish they were mimes. I wish it was the IMP and not the ICP because then I could stand listening to their music. It would be 30 minutes of pure heaven. You'd hear nothing. You'd put the CD in, it'd be nothing but silence. Think of how much more enjoyable ICP would be. Again, I did it. IMP. Think how much more enjoyable they would be if it was 30 minutes of silence and nothing else. God, that's heaven to me. But nope. They got to go with ICP. Insane Clown Posse. The only group in this country that appeals mainly to trailer trash. I don't know if, you know, when you buy a trailer for some trailer park in this country, like in Georgia or Kansas or something, if when they move it on to the plot where you're going to set that down and you go in to put your furniture in there, sitting on the floor must be like a Dark Carnival CD or something. I mean, I think it's handed out. I think if you fall below a certain income bracket in this country, aside from getting welfare and Medicaid, they hand you ICP lyrics and, you know, music and merchandise. Hello, welcome to poverty. Enjoy your Insane Clown Posse CD. I think that's a punishment. In fact, that's what the Republicans should do. They hate poor people, right? Just make poor people listen to ICP, and I guarantee you those are going to be working the next day. I would. Make me listen to that. I'm going to go work at Burger King. I don't give a bathe me in fry oil. I'll do it if I don't have to listen to these two jumping around on stage singing about dark carnivals. And their hardcore attitude. Okay, first off, I grew up in the most white bread suburban town you can imagine, where if wind blew down the street too fast, people would run to their bomb shelters. I mean, we were scared shitless. We were major This was a white suburbanite neighborhood. But even we were more hardcore than these stupid ICP. It's really hard to take anybody seriously when you're wearing clown makeup. I'm sorry, my makeup. I did it again. When you're wearing my makeup, it's really hard to take you seriously. You're not intimidating. When you're walking down the street and that, do you know what I want to do? It's not run away from you. It's not go, hey, you look awesome. What I want to do is find where your top hat is so I can put a quarter in it. Because you must be a street performer, because nobody in their right mind would ever walk down the street dressed like that. You can't sport a look like that and think you're going to be intimidating. It's just not going to happen. Case in point, ever see the movie The Warriors? 70s movie, street gangs, come on, warriors, come out and play, yay! That thing? Everybody's heard that line, at least. Did a couple video games about it. It's a famous movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're go look it up. Anyway, I was a kid and I watched that movie. And almost all the gangs, I was like, okay, I kind of see where you're going. The roller skating gang was a little bit but whatever. I can kind of see where you're going with this. It's intimidating. But there was one gang in that movie that didn't scare anybody. Guess what gang that was? It was the one in clown makeup. And I remember watching that as a kid and thinking, there's no way. That was what broke the reality of that movie for me. It wasn't the fact that street gangs could fight up and down a city with no police ever getting involved. That was completely realistic to my 7-year-old mind. But the one thing that really broke the illusion of reality for me was the idea that any gang in the history of ever would think they'd be respected by wearing clown makeup. That's just not going to happen. I couldn't picture the gangster disciples running in fear from a couple of in clown makeups with baseball bats. That just is not going to happen. So watching that movie, I was like, that is never going to happen. That's so unrealistic. That's nobody would ever try to be hardcore in clown makeup. And yet here I am, like 20 years later, with a bunch of white rich kids, suburbanite white kids, dressing up like clowns, up on the internet. But oh no, yep, these kids will. Followers of the ICP, the Dark Carnival. Oh, and they're so they're just so I think even people go, my god, these kids are okay, look at the drinks they like. Or they're always singing, you know, the ICP. I could look up what their names are, okay? I'm lazy. Sue me. I could go on Wikipedia and find out what the names of these two on stage are. But guess what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Do you know why I'm not going to do it? Because I have dignity. And because I don't want ICP anywhere in my search terms. But yeah, so these two guys, 1 and 2, the Insane Mime Posse, they get up on stage and they sing about Faygo. That's the name of their soft drink. Come on. Come on, seriously? Faygo. You drink something called Faygo. Really? Really? And you don't think people are going to call you You drink something called Faygo. Alright? And don't give me that, oh, it's cheap pop, that's why they drink it, blah, 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 blah. I get it, right? We already talked about below the poverty line. Fine, I get you. You know what people below the poverty line drink? Even middle class people drink? It's called Shasta. Don't give me the Faygo argument. It's not because you're cheap, it's because you're buying products. You're drinking pop called Faygo and clown makeup. Come on. Come on. Bunch of white bread suburbanite hardcore kids. Give me a break. Talking about, I don't care what mom and dad think. I love ICP. I'm down with the clown, Charlie Brown. You know, they can test kids, you know, like eugenicists and stuff, talk about, won't it be great 20 years from now, 30, 40, 50 years from now when we can test kids for genetic diseases and do prenatal surgery, and it'll be a new world. We won't have to worry about, you know, really horrible diseases and utopia, all that. How about we test for juggaloitis? Because I'm not going to have a juggalo for a kid. I'm not. The ICP movie is a god piece of God. Ugh. Really, though, it's pretty terrible. So, we kind of covered Juggalos, we covered ICP, let's get to the bulk of it. This horrible movie. Horrible, horrible movie. And not horrible in that, oh my god, it's so cheesy, I love it kind of way. No, this is an Ed Wood in any kind of way. Alright, we're not talking Plan 9 from outer space, we're talking horse wrapped in a rotten burrito. It is god-awful. Just terrible. And when you consider this thing was made with $250,000 budget, way more than amateur, you know, way more than Ed Wood ever worked with. Alright, and his a masterpiece compared to this pile of apparently there's a backstory to it, but again, like I said, I'm so lazy, and I'm just not going to go to Wikipedia and look it up, but it's there. You can find it if you want to. I don't know why you'd want to find out more about big money hustlers. You know, hustlers spelled with an AS instead of ERS, because it's marketing, okay? It's marketing. And they really think their audience is so that they need to up the spelling to make it appeal more. And it's just so blatantly commercial. It's just... It reminds me of those McDonald's commercials with black people. You remember those? For like a year, McDonald's kept doing them. And all it was like a group of black guys who were talking about, oh yeah, we're gonna get some chicken nuggets up in this. The most racist you could imagine. And McDonald's is like, oh, they're black, right? So they're gonna love cheap food because black people are cheap, right? Right? There's nothing racist about that. We're McDonald's. Except it was totally racist. And that's why they don't ever do those commercials again, because they're horrible. So what's the plot of the movie? Huh? What's the movie about? Guess what? I got no clue. All I can tell you is it's god-awful. I watched about 20 minutes of it, and that was 20 minutes too much. It really is that bad. It's like an hour and a half. The whole thing's up on YouTube. If you don't believe me, go check it out. But I'm telling you, it's terrible. Just terrible. And I like bad movies. I'm like the cinema snob. I love that. I will watch bad movies, and I will enjoy them. But damn it, this is terrible. And it's a really, really cheesy attempt at doing like a 70s detective film, you know, and so the theme to the movie, the plot to the movie is basically, from what I could gather from my 20 minutes of watching it, is that the skinny one is the cop and the fat one's the bad guy. And there's conflict there, and I'm sure somewhere in this movie they probably sing a duet. God, I know they probably try to make this like the gangster version of Cats and clown makeup, but I bet they have to. There has to be a musical number in this, there just has to. But yeah, so $250,000 budget makes Ed Wood look like a genius. It's that bad. It's terrible. In fact, I'm just going to show you a clip. Just a sample of the acting in this gem. Just watch this. Watch this amazing delivery of this line. And tell me if it doesn't seem like he's having a stroke at the end of it. Like, they just kept filming. They didn't realize his brain literally hit, blew an aneurysm or something. Because it really looks like he just went nuts at the very end of the sentence. Alright, here it is. Are you kidding me? Seriously, look how he says money. Seriously, look how he says money. Okay, it looks like he went for a minute. I want to make this a GIF. I want to make this a GIF and make this my forum signature. It's that bad. It's just, it's too good to pass up. It literally looks like he's having a god stroke in the middle of delivering that line. Now I'm going to guess that's probably because he weighs about 500 pounds. He's covered head to toe in makeup that's probably suffocating his fat. And he drinks nothing but a steady diet of Fago. So his sugared up, sweaty, fat, makeup-wearing probably literally did have a god stroke delivering that line because it's the most exercise his flabby butt has ever gotten in the last, I don't know, year. In fact, I'm almost sure that if you go and watch concert footage of IMP, that's right, Insane Mime Posse, if you watch concert footage of that, they probably have to, drag his out on stage in a U-Haul. You know what I mean? They probably got to use a crane to marionette his fat flab up there so he can talk about the Dark Carnival in between eating Subway sandwiches. But it leaves me dumbfounded. I've heard some of the songs. I went and listened to some of the songs. They got a couple of them have decent beats. I'll give them that, right? But the lyrics are if you read the lyrics, it's really bad. I mean, it's really, really bad. The audience can't be getting a deeper message from the lyrics about how to live a good life and so it's the look. They have to open their own miming school because they're the only people in history that ever made miming, I guess, the look of mimes attractive to people. They've got teenage boys all over the country dressed up like mimes. I'm thoroughly convinced that this is the reason. I think these two guys are the reason black people hate white people. I think that whole racism thing is a cover. I think black people really hate us because of these two. Because frankly, I hate them. And if I were black, it would make me hate me even more. Even though I'm not even a juggalo, I'd say, wait a minute, they're white and you're white, so you must suck because they suck. That's how bad ICP is. So anyway, like I said, this video is just for me to vent. It's a terrible movie. It's unfunny, and it doesn't shut up for like an hour and a half. At the 20-minute mark, I couldn't take it anymore. I OD'd on this. God help you if you want to watch it. God help you if you can make it past 20 minutes, because you are a brave mother. It is that bad. And I know some of you sick are gonna think, oh, I gotta watch it now, and he's just exaggerating. It can't be that bad. I'll go watch it. It's really that bad. I mean, I'm not joking. I'm not trying to be funny. It really is. It's a terrible movie. You're gonna go watch it, and you'll be like 10 minutes into it, and you'll be like, you know what? I can't watch any more of this. It's just got all these kids dressing up like clowns. Jesus, man.
And he talked about some of their fans, aka Juggalos.
You have been blocked by the owner of this video. Well, that's a bit of a kick in the pants, isn't it? Here I had typed out this amazing response and I've been blocked. Really, really quickly too, and I'm just a little bit confused. Tiny bit confused. Why am I confused? Let's find out why I'm confused. Let's take a look at a snippet of this video and see if we can find out why I'm confused about being blocked on this video. I don't know. Something's a little bit tricky about this, but let's see if we can figure it out. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, wait a second. You're surprised by the amount of hate you don't get, and you wish people gave you hate. Interesting. Interesting you would say that, considering you blocked me from your video. I'm surprised about the amount of hate I don't get, and yet you block me from your video. It's kind of a move. A little bit of a move. Gotta say, it's a tiny bit of a move. But let's see what started all this. I'll play the video again. We'll move ahead a little bit. That's what started it all. I was just watching this Juggalos video. You know, I got done doing the ICP videos, and I was like, let's go look at some Juggalos, because it'll give me a good laugh and get that memory of that movie out of my head. And so I come across this guy's, right? And I'm watching his video. There's nothing, you know, amazing about it, but he said hate's a form of envy. So I kindly responded to him. So I'll put up my screen cap. My response, real simple. And don't say Godwin's Law, you guys, alright, for God's sake. It's a relevant point. It's a relevant point because he said hate is a form of envy. And then he responds, stop being a troll, live your life, have fun, and peace. And he blocks me. Well, anyway, ball's in your court, champ. Let's see how you follow this one up. Maybe you're going to block this video response or flag it, because apparently you can't take even a little bit of criticism. Because you're a juggalo. So, where do I start? Well, if you remember a while back, I did the Mimes Aren't Scary video response to a user on YouTube, a juggalo by the name of NeedandMaster16. Well, NeedandMaster's an interesting guy. He blocked me on his video after begging to get trolls to come to his videos and, you know, saying he wanted conflict and views and all that, because he's an attention, and he wanted these things. So, being the upstanding citizen of the internet that I am, I wanted to help him out. You know, here's a guy asking for people to give him, and I was like, I can do that. I can do that. So, went to his video to give him some, and he blocked me. And, you know, that's kind of a move. And so that was my little video to him, was telling him he was a. But this was like a week or two ago, right? So, whatever, you know. You know, he gave me his response, which I don't know. I think he juggled something, you know, made some balloon animals, whatever the juggalos do. I don't really know. But, you know, and so that was water under the bridge. It was done. Week and a half ago, 2 weeks, whatever, you know. So 2 days ago, another user shows up on the video, and their name is TwizTid Lily. God, I can't. I don't know what this name is, man. I'm just, we're gonna call her, because, you know, it starts with a T and a W. Twiz. I think it's. And so let's see what had to say on my video here. Start her off at the beginning. So this is what posted 2 days ago. I responded to. This is again 2 days ago. Right, go look at the first two posts on his video. Both were calm and to the point. Yet he blocks me. I mean, you pull this out of your that I don't respect others' views, yet I ain't the one blocking anyone. Go spread your lessons about respecting other viewpoints to the one actually blocking people from expressing them. See, now wasn't that adult of me? I didn't call her a raging or make fun of her for being a juggalo. I just said my piece. And so what is her response? This is fantastic, by the way. So this is what she responds to me. The little my husband. I love that. Oh. And he has better things to do, like raising our children, instead of fighting with somebody who will look at this specific instance in which he was speaking, which was ICP and ICP haters. Had you watched the... okay, whatever. So it's his wife. He sent his wife to defend him. I mean, I know juggalos are up and they're goofy but really? So first you block me on your video like a and then you send your wife to fight your battles? Are you kidding me? Your wife. You had to send a girl to go stick up for you on the internet? I love the internet. Oh, and one last thing before we jump into this, because I know what he's going to say. He's going to be like, I didn't send my wife out to yell on your video. I'm not a... Okay. He responded to this video. Ooh, God, Needmaster, you suck.
As for what Jim uploaded beyond his ICP and Spax3 commentaries, I am not so sure if I should bring up something else. Jim made a video about that kid that tried to bully SAGA kid, but I'm not so sure which account it was uploaded on. There was also the Gathering Storm videos, which in my opinion still holds up to this day.
So today what I'd like to talk about is Warner Music Group and their '9 policy of removing any soundtrack or any music that happens to be theirs. Everybody's had this happen. Now, we may not see it very much because, you know, and I'm talking about the we as in the sense of the people who are watching this video right now, because I know who you guys are. You know, I look at your pages, so I kind of get a feel for who you are. And the majority of us like anime. The majority of us like video games. And so we may not have this happen a lot. But I can guarantee you who it's happening to in droves. AMV makers. Alright, AMV makers are getting the hardest hit by this. You know that joke that every AMV on YouTube has Linkin Park in it? I mean, that's, you know, like every AMV you go to, it's got Naruto and it's got Linkin Park in it. That's not going to be a joke much longer. I mean, that's going to be factual. Eventually, we're going to reach a point where there is only 1 or 2 songs that we can play. Where every company out there is removing content, removing videos, muting videos, because it contains a piece of their property.
But aside from these, we're going to fast forward to his new channel. And his new prestigious account put him on the map. It pretty much catapulted him from a random poster to an icon. And that'll be it for today. Thanks for joining me in part 1, Hero or Villain, Mr. Metokur. I'll see you all either next week or next month. Bye bye for now.